Let me just check out Twitter real quick right here. Oh no. They're nerfing Stridebreaker next patch? Oh, I'm gonna have to make this video really quick. So Stridebreaker Aatrox has been doing really well lately. I decided to make a video on it talking about it. A lot of people don't really understand why Stridebreaker is being chosen over Goredrinker and why it's performing so well. So I decided to get some clips together and show you guys some things, okay? Now the first thing to go over is why Goredrinker has fallen out of favor. Well, with nerfs to Aatrox's healing from items and nerfs to his Goredrinker's damage and multi-target healing, and then of course nerfs to Goredrinker's healing flatline, Goredrinker has fallen really out of favor with Aatrox. You can see with the win rates here, Stridebreaker is performing better on Aatrox than other options. Now, just to be clear, Stridebreaker's pick rate is still much lower than Goredrinker, meaning that people are picking Stridebreaker in good situations for it, and it's the better players who are going it, which is raising its win rate. You also have to understand that next patch it's being nerfed, and the difference between Goredrinker and Stridebreaker will definitely be going down. Now, using Stridebreaker Aatrox, you're going to change your playstyle a little bit. You're going to be more of a supporty kind of style, okay? So your itemization is going to include going with a Stridebreaker first, going into a Sterix Gauge, typically Death's Dance, a Spirit Visage, maybe things like a Thornmail, but that would be your general build. You're going to want to avoid going things like Black Cleaver and Hydra. Definitely Hydra. Black Cleaver you might be able to put in there, but you want to avoid going with a low survivability item like Hydra. I decided to get some clips together to show you guys some situations and some reasons why Stridebreaker is performing pretty well. And I'll show those now, and I'll talk about what's going on and why Stridebreaker is performing well. So in this first clip, I think this is a really good example of Stridebreaker and its power on Aatrox. You'll see that I move in and I hit her with the Stridebreaker into my Q over a W. And because the slow is so heavy, she only has the choice of flashing out or dying to my combo. That's really powerful, and that's primarily the advantage of Stridebreaker. So here's another good show of Stridebreaker. Once again, I'm going to use my Stridebreaker into a Q so that she's slowed into the Q. Then I'm going to plant her down with a W, and I've put so much CC into the Jinx for my team that she basically has no choice but to die here. And you can see she gets pulled back into my team, and she's just going to die for free. The Stridebreaker gap closer and slow just means that we pick up a free kill that otherwise we might not have gotten. So I actually start this fight in a very bad position. I end up losing it, but I would have beaten her in the 1v1. And you can see that despite her outplaying my Q, I can get past her traps with the Stridebreaker gap closer into a slow, which locks her into my Q chain. I didn't have my W available here, but even without that, I would have won this fight had their teammate not shown up. And that really shows the advantage Stridebreaker is giving you into squishy targets and chasing people down. This one here is just going to show you the Stridebreaker chasing into a squishy target and using the Stridebreaker to get good combos. Normally a Lulu would be a very annoying and difficult target, but you can see when she slows me with her Q, instead I Stridebreaker through it, hit her again, which locks her into my combo, and she just dies for free with really nothing she could have done about it. This one's a little bit different from the other ones because you might be thinking that Stridebreaker is only useful in the ranged champions, but here actually, because Aatrox is weaker in melee than most champions, you can see I can use Stridebreaker in an interesting way to get out of melee. And you might notice here that I actually generated enough distance between me and Wukong using the slow and the gap closer from Stridebreaker that I was able to get out of his second ult range, set up a combo on him, and actually get back and get the kill. Granted, I think I would have died had I not been fed, but you know, what are you gonna do? This one's just a little bit more basic. It's just showing me use a Stridebreaker to gap close into Rel. There's really nothing more going on here than that, but you can see that Stridebreaker is giving me more to do, and that's basically it. It's just giving me a little bit of gap closer, a little bit of slow, let me get back into range and kill people. That's about it. It's just, you know, it's an item. Sometimes it shows off really well, and sometimes it's just good. Even if you're not going for kills, Stridebreaker can be used during a poke combo in order to set up your combo a little bit better. You can see here I use a Stridebreaker in a way that it automatically pulls him, or at the very least pulls him when it wouldn't have, and I get a really good trade in on him. Stridebreaker can be extremely useful to these AD carries that have gap closers, and you can see that here when Ezreal E's out of my combo and I use Stridebreaker to get back into range and bash him with the next one. His team has to peel him away and he uses his flash, but in return they've used so many abilities that my team comes in and mops up, and with their AD carry out of the fight, there's really nothing left for them and they've already lost. So with that, I think you guys can see why Stridebreaker on Aatrox is doing pretty decent. Even though it's getting nerfed next patch, it's still going strong for at least a week. I wasn't sure if I should make this video based on the fact that Riot was nerfing it literally next patch, but I figured that you guys might be able to enjoy it, and next patch it'll still at least be decent into the right matchups. I think a lot of people agree that right now Aatrox is best used as a counter pick, especially into situations where he can use Stridebreaker to mop up kills on enemies. This does mean that Aatrox's playstyle is a little bit less carry heavy and a little bit more kind of second tank team supporty, but that's kind of what he does, just he's shuffled a little bit less away from the carry and more into the team support. If you guys have liked this video and you want more of this sort of content, make sure to like and subscribe and show up again, because I'm going to keep putting out videos for you guys to enjoy. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate all of you. Kitty appreciates you too, even though she's running away from you just like every other girl in your life. Bye bye everybody.